If you know that you really need to do an annual business review and to create a strategic plan for the new year, but one, you don't know how to do it, or maybe you do, but you know it takes forever, or you think it takes forever, and you just don't have the time to do it, then stick around, because in this video, I'm going to show you the easiest way to create a solid business plan for the new year. And that is to start with a SWOT analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how to do that, all the examples that you might find in private practice. And then from that, you are going to be able to speed through your plan and know exactly what you really need to be paying attention to and doing in the new year to meet the goals that you've set for your practice. Welcome to today's episode. My name is Jarod Carter. I'm a physical therapist, a cash-based practice owner, and the creator of the Cash Pay Profit Formula. I help providers just like you to create your own successful cash-based out-of-network or concierge practices so that you can cut ties with greedy insurance companies, reclaim your profits in your future, and provide a level of care that you can be ultimately proud of. So if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing to this channel because I do trainings like this all the time, and they always have a free resource associated with them. And in this episode, the free resource are all the KPIs, financials, and other factors that I have my coaching clients gather to do our annual end-of-year review and to help us to plan out the coming year. So we combine the SWOT analysis with this list, this free resource that I'm giving to you, this list of things that you want to gather, and it's going to really help you to very quickly be able to know exactly what to focus on and, again, get results faster and not have to spend an entire week creating your strategic plan for the new year. So you can get that at drjarodcarter.com/episode 15, the number 15. So drjarodcarter.com/episode 15. Okay, let's dive in. So quick recap, SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, strengths and weaknesses are what's internal to your company, things that you have and have control on within your company, or control of, I should say. And then opportunities and threats are external to your company. So you can plan on and capitalize on opportunities, and you can protect against threats, but you're not necessarily going to deeply change them or change them at all. And so in the world of private practice, I mean, gosh, there's so many things that for one practice, it could be a strength. In another practice, it could be a weakness. For one practice, it could be a threat. For others, it could be an opportunity. But just to throw out some examples to kind of get your creative juices flowing so that you can sit down with a pen and paper and, within 20, 30 minutes, really, I think is all that it would really take, is to have a really solid list of your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. And then once you have those, they can guide you on how to really build out the plan for the new year. So let's talk about potential strengths. And man, there are tons of them, especially I think in the world of cash-based practice where we really can have more freedom to provide a level of service that others, who are kind of really financially forced to see so many patients an hour can't do. But let me say one thing. If you got strength, on your strength list, if you got, full hour one-on-one visits or just, prolonged visits, as long as they need, with me as their provider, that's great. And it is a strength. But these days, there is so many competition, so many new competitors in the cash pay realm that are providing prolonged one-on-one care that can't be the only component of your experience that is, that's really trying, setting you apart from the competition. And I talked about this even a year ago in my annual kind of year in review podcast, is that one of the things I was seeing is that there's an explosion in the cash-based healthcare model. And so it's no longer the case that, you can be one of only 3 concierge docs, in the area, or, 3 cash pay PT or speech therapists or whatever. It's like, there's a lot of us out there now. And so you've got to continue to raise the bar and differentiate yourself by more than just prolonged visits as far as, what's in your strength column for the overall experience and result that you give. So maybe, that comes in the form of like sought after technology or even sought after skill sets and certifications. I know that there are in the PT world, certain certifications that certain types of people are actively saying, like, who has that credential behind their name? Like myself, I was just looking for a Schroth provider for my children who are dealing with scoliosis. So that skill set and certifications in your niche can be one of the things in your strength column. So there's plenty of things that you have control over, that you can do well, that you and your staff can do well. And other, example might be that you and your staff are really good at your operating procedure when it comes to getting Google reviews from as many of your clients as possible, and compelling word of mouth referrals, not just letting it happen organically when it happens, but really asking for them and making it really clear, and having some automated asks and other things that you can find in other videos actually that I put out trainings like this on how to maximize your Google reviews and your word of mouth referrals. It's not just a passive, organic process. It's something that could be a huge strength for your business if you're doing it right. It could also be a weakness if you're not doing it right. So again, going through all the different things that you can say, yes, we're executing at a high level on this. It's generating business. It's generating referrals. It's generating really happy customers. Great. Those are on your strengths column. Similarly with weaknesses, there's probably plenty of things that that you're not doing or not executing at a high level that could go into that column. Maybe your website SEO is not up to snuff, right? Maybe you're not getting that much traffic, based on your website, or maybe you're getting decent traffic, but you're like, no one's really downloading my lead magnets or converting on my website into a lead or customer. So maybe your lead conversions of that traffic is a weakness for you, even if you have decent traffic numbers. Maybe you don't have as many professional referral sources. You're doing great in the word of mouth side of things, but you could do a lot better at getting, whether physician or non-physician, professional referral relationships built, and that you need to build out a plan for the new year on how you can double down on that and turn that weakness into a strength. And then we look at externally and we talk about opportunities. There's a lot of good examples of this as well. The location that you're in, if it's growing as a city, or as just maybe you're in a neighborhood that's up and coming. Maybe it's already an affluent neighborhood where if you're in the cash pay model, that's not a necessity by any means. But if people on average have a higher level of financial affluence, it makes the decision to go out and network a little easier. So that could be, potential opportunities or growth and opportunities, for your practice based on location and what's happening in that area. Another opportunity might be that your niche or your target market is specifically growing. So like, let's say you're really, the go-to provider for a sport that's, adding new club teams all the time, or maybe, you're a provider for, women's health, and your area has a lot more families moving into it, and you're able to do a lot of more pre and postpartum work, whatever the case may be, but specific to your niche, that could be an opportunity. Sometimes it's major competition selling to a corporation. Mergers and acquisitions are quite common now, and getting even more and more common in the healthcare world in all fields. And so if you've got, significant competition that provides a high level of service, and they're getting bought out by a huge corporation that's going to start shoving productivity down their throats, and that they're going to go from, seeing 1 or 2 patients an hour to 4 or 5, well, that's an opportunity. It's a move in the right direction for your practice, and you might be able to capitalize on patients that are now no longer going to be getting the same level of service at that competitor. And then threats, plenty of those as well. Could be new competitors, could be competitors who are outperforming in certain areas, performing better than you are in certain areas, or in areas that you're not actually executing at all. So there might be some things where you say, it makes sense for me to start to compete with them in this arena, or maybe it doesn't, but you still need to know that there's a threat there, and do you want to protect against it, or do you not feel like it's worth your time and resources? Then there's threats like new viruses. I mean, who wasn't affected in some way by COVID-19? Do you have an answer if that happens again? If there's a huge issue where people can't come in, or in much lower numbers are going to come in, are you set up for telemedicine and telehealth at this point? And not just set up for it, but set up to where you can make the switch again, or if you didn't do it for the first time, make that switch, keep your numbers up, keep your customers and your patients serviced and happy. I guess, we didn't expect COVID-19 and who knows what else is on the horizon. So, making sure that you will not fail as a business or massively be hurt by something like that coming along. It is a threat you need to make sure you're protected against. Okay. And then finally, now that you have your SWOT, your list of S, W, O, and T, you're going to rank these different things in areas of, how impactful it will be to focus on them, to address them, and also kind of the level of importance. It's not just about how easy is it going to be for me to make a change or an improvement in a weak area. Is it going to, how much resources, time, effort, money is it going to take to get me there, and the likely concurrent impact that's going to make on the business. Sometimes it's a definite yes. And sometimes it's I think that's a weakness we can manage to have, and take that same level of resource and focus that it would take to get it to a strength, and actually pour more fuel on the fire of this incredible strength, because the outcome of doing so is going to be greater than getting rid of that weakness. So you can start to analyze, where are the things that really are my lowest hanging fruit? Where am I going to get the biggest impact and result from, the level of resources and time and attention that it's going to take to get that result. And then once you have that list and it's all, ranked out, now you've got your strengths that you can further capitalize on, the weaknesses that you need to improve on, the opportunities that make sense to pursue and capitalize on, and then finally the threats that you definitely want to protect against. And that information is really critical, and you can literally in 20 or 30 minutes have that information to then put together with the KPIs and the financials and the other things that you can get at that free downloadable at drjarodcarter.com/episode 15. And then it's time to start to build out that plan and actually look at the calendar and say, all right, these are my goals for the year. Here are obviously all the items that we're going to be working on, and start to, reverse engineer that and say, where can we work on those? What do we need to focus on first, next, and build out your plan for the year. And that is how you can start with a SWOT analysis very quickly, create that structure to the rest of the plan and get it done in record time. So if you have any questions or comments on any of this, please let me know in the comments below. I really, really appreciate your comments, and I appreciate, being able to field your questions. Again, drjarodcarter.com/episode 15. Please go get that free downloadable. Make sure, a lot of times the KPIs for cash-based practice are different than other KPIs. So it's important that you know what I have my coaching clients and all my private practice owner students to gather and analyze as they're analyzing the past year, and then helping that to propel them into an even stronger new year. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you in the next episode.